Carolina, and that so many homeless people deserve our empathy and compassion.
Man, remember when you got banned for Medicare fraud? Imagine if you said anything near this, but you know the right is never violent. I know. This doesn't mean that, like, those of us on the left should get to say stuff like this in general. We can't get away with it, and we shouldn't say it anyway. Who made it on the Fox News primetime and they did zero research on him, far left streamer, now he's banned.
And the far left is acting like Charlie had it coming.
If you wanted Charlie Kirk to be alive,
God, these people are so dumb. Dude, it's awesome though, because now they got like one scalp in their minds. They got one scalp, so then they're like, oh, finally, like, we got one. Okay, maybe they'll quiet down, you know what I mean?
Trump shouldn't have been president for the second term.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature. The issue is right now, they don't feel like there's any fear.
That guy's name's Destiny, and he just learned his fate. He's fired and banned from making any more money.
It literally says kick right here, you idiot. It says kick right there, dumb. I wonder why. I wonder why he's on kick and not on. Anyway, we shouldn't even tell him. No, he got banned. Twitch is taking these concerns and they are running with those concerns. And by that, I mean, they banned him so hard. They banned him before he even said those things on Twitter.
On his site. You need conservatives to be afraid of getting when you go to events. CNN is defending this guy.
We can't punish people for disagreeing with us. We can't punish people for being jerks and celebrating the death of someone. That's not illegal.
It's pretty funny that Jesse Waters, the day after Charlie Kirk's assassination, or like hours after Charlie Kirk's assassination, was like, we have to start physically apprehending people. Like we have to take it to the left. We have to do something to the left, right? Like immediately after. And then he's like, wow, I can't believe these guys are saying such violent things on the Democrat Party side, on the extreme left.
Illegal, and that shouldn't be who we are.
She's right. It's not illegal to say Charlie deserved to die and you're glad he did. They have a right to say that, but we have a right to fire you.
I genuinely can't believe this is a separate clip. They're not defending him specifically. I know, of course they're not defending him, but it is pretty funny that these guys are so, these guys are so stupid and so susceptible to misinformation that even when this dude turns around and trolls people by being like, oh no, I got banned, by showing the actual time that he got banned, which was many years ago at this point, they're like, hell yeah, we got one.
You can't walk into the office and say you're into homicide. You can't work at CNN and tweet, I'm comfortable with cold-blooded.
What do you mean? Dog. A prominent anchor on your network, Brian Me, quite literally said that about homeless people, which includes, of course, homeless veterans as well. A group of homeless people that you guys love to avoid talking about until you want to talk about how much money we're spending on immigrants or some shit. Okay? He just straight up said, we should homeless people. Like, not even, like, that's it. That's what he said. He said we should straight up homeless people, dude. Okay? That is crazy. Also, speaking of which, 13 people hurt in 2 matches at the Minneapolis homeless encampments on the same day, apparently. Okay? At least 13 people have been wounded, 5 critically, and 2 that erupted over a span of 12 hours at homeless encampments in Minneapolis, with the mayor saying he shouldn't be surprised if they are connected. He wouldn't be surprised if they're connected. On Monday marked the 4th and 5th match to occur in Minneapolis over the past 3 weeks, including one on August 27th at Annunciation. Fuck, I can't even read anymore. Annunciation Catholic school that left 2 children dead and 21 people injured. Yeah, here's what Brian me said. This guy.
Billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get to?
I like that he also clarified, like, if people don't know what involuntary euthanasia means, look at his face, bro. Wait.
It has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something.
Yep. He went, yeah. and then stop. Look, please look at his reaction. Look at his reaction.
Injection or something.
Yeah.
Lethal injection or something.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get to this point?
Yeah. Yeah, Brian came out.
Morning, we were discussing. Right. I would say this. We're not voting for the right people. In North Carolina, wake up.
Yeah, we're not voting for the right people. We should be voting for the people who will the homeless. I can't. This is so funny. Yeah, no, he apologized. He did. He had to. Of course, he had to apologize. We are so far removed from. We are so far removed from like accountability or anything like that, especially on the conservative side. Like it is unironically seen as like a major freedom that you have if you are right wing, you know?
Of Irina Zaruska in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, how to stop these kinds of attacks by homeless, mentally ill assailants, including institutionalizing or jailing such people so they cannot attack again. Now, during that discussion, I wrongly said they should get lethal injections. I apologize for that extremely callous remark. Obviously, not all mentally ill homeless people act as the perpetrator did in North Carolina, and that so many homeless people deserve our empathy and compassion.
Man, remember when you got banned for Medicare fraud? Imagine if you said anything near this, but you know the right is never violent. I know. This doesn't mean that like those of us on the left should get to say stuff like this in general. We can't get away with it, and we shouldn't say it anyway, okay? But like, understand that this is how it works. Like, there is no... I know I farm the hypocrisy points all the time because, unfortunately, dullard-ass normies actually respond to that, especially those in the fucking margins. And it's certainly a weapon that the Republicans have wielded for a very long time. But the reality of the matter is, these guys don't give a... Yeah, they're hypocritical. Like, they don't care. They're just lying. They're stupid. They're lying. They're hateful. It is what it is, you know? It's just, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Like, what do you do when half of the two major parties in this country, like one half of the entire political system is just operating on lies and hysteria? You know, the never violent right. What is this?
A number of people got shot at a homeless encampment just off of Lake Street earlier.
Yeah, we just covered it. Yeah. Libs think hypocrisy is like a poison debuff. Yeah.
More people need to be.
Anyway, that's funny that, like, again, Jesse Waters, only a couple days after being like, we have to do to the left, is like, wow, I can't believe how intolerant these libtards are.
Speech is free, but you're not free from the consequences. If you're glad Charlie's dead and thought he had it coming, I'm supposed to sit next to you in the break room? You're going to teach my kid at school? Or serve in government, and I'm supposed to just say, free speech. You're advertising that you're a maniac and that you have no decency, compassion, or humanity.
I mean, like, low-key, that's how I feel about being around Republicans who celebrate deaths of not just, like, one person, but entire swaths of the population. That's what it feels like if you're anti-Zionist, if you're anti-Israel, and you're surrounded by these people who are just like looking at, you're surrounded by these people who are looking at all that death and destruction and going, that's awesome. We want more of it. And you should shut up. But once again, I always say, like, this goes back to how violence is perceived by the masses. If it's institutions, if it's institutional violence, if it's systemic violence, if it's the violence of the state, it's not considered violence by the masses. So as long as the government doing it, right, you can maybe get mad at the process, right? Oh, wow, like, we're bombing this country. Oh, you didn't get proper clearance or permission from Congress. You know, at most, that's the anger and resentment people have. I remember this when we were talking about bombing Yemen, which is a rite of passage for every American president, okay? And like, even in the Signal Gate, the main point of contention for everybody was how big of a security failure this was, that drunk ass Pete Hegseth had brought in the editor of The Atlantic into the group chat when he was talking about how they're going to be bombing Yemen. And that was the major point of contention. No one was like saying, hey, why the fuck are we bombing a sovereign country? Can someone explain that to me? Like, that's pretty up. That's pretty unacceptable. Why are we doing that? And that to me is indicative of the way that we see state violence. right? Another glaring example of that, like the societal reflection on violence, who gets to do it, who gets to be the recipient of it, and how non-state actors are those who are considered violent, was when Benjamin Netanyahu went on Fox News and just sat there and was like, the type of violence that seeks to silence dissent is one that I'm all too familiar with. And I was like, the fuck do you mean? You've killed every journalist in Gaza, motherfucker. You're a war criminal. You're doing the Holocaust. And you just sit there and you go, oh, I can't believe like the violence that took out Charlie Kirk. It's coming in my direction too. The very fact that people's immediate response to that isn't like, says you? Really? You're fucking modern day Adolf Hitler. What the fuck do you mean? Is that asymmetry, is the lack of reflection from the broader society, from the masses, on who gets to do violence. And this is precisely the reason why right-wingers can get away with coming across as not violent, because they simply want more of the things that are happening. If the systems themselves are inherently violent to those who are working poor, to homeless people, to black people, brown people, undocumented people, trans people, gay people, and you just keep demanding more of that, right? Then technically you're not making a major call to arms. You're just saying, I want more of the thing that already happens. And that's it. That's how these guys can get away. That's how these guys can get away with making these sorts of statements, while simultaneously broader society does not understand exactly how violent this shit is. Or at least those in the margins don't understand exactly how violent the things that Republicans are demanding truly are. Obviously, if you're black, and when you hear someone like Charlie Kirk be like, you know, police brutality is necessary because black people are violent and doing something, you know, something along those lines. When Charlie Kirk relitigates the same exact fucking racist tropes that have impacted black Americans, he can get away with saying that. Black people understand it's violent, but the broad majority does not. They just think, what do you mean? He's just saying it like it is. What, do you not want police? Do you want people to just like keep doing rapes and whatnot? And it becomes this like endeavor to have to explain to people, you know? And in the process of that explainer, they turn around and they say, oh God, you're the real divisive guy. You're being quite divisive, sir. Why are you calling out my racism? Why are you trying to describe my fucking racism? And I will say, while I've always tried to understand this, I would say that in my professional career, until these past 2 years, I never truly got how fucking enraging it is to constantly have to explain a position with the knowledge in your mind that the broad majorities of society are not going to see you as a full fucking human being. They're always going to have that implicit bias until the Islamophobia kicked into fucking high gear with the whole Israel stuff. I always thought I understood it, but I never truly understood it. Okay? I never truly understood, even though I empathized with it and I obviously defended these groups, the fucking unimaginable frustration of having to constantly fucking eat it with the full knowledge that people that are watching, people that are listening, onlookers, maybe even loved ones, right? People that you thought were allies and friends will never fucking understand. They just won't, especially if they're, you know, let's be real, white men. You can try to understand it, and there's no problem with like not fully being able to comprehend it. I certainly did it fully comprehended for many, many years, okay? Because I'm a white passing dude. I'm a white guy. I'm 6'4". I am traditionally attractive by Western standards. So like when I was advocating for trans people, or when I was advocating for black people, when I was advocating for undocumented migrants, like there was always a level of security that I had, or a not being directly in the targeted group, the dehumanization.